Today I'm going to be walking through one of my upper body sessions and my thought process around the exercises and how I set them up for myself. So, going to start off with a single arm row. I'm going to use the hammer strength one here, just my personal favourite, especially for this. For me, I don't really like anything too chest supported as it does feel quite uncomfortable. So I just like something to be able to push against. With this, I like to go opposite leg, opposite arm. And I like to have a little bit of rotation, but also to allow myself to line up with the machine itself, I like to lean round slightly. So I'm looking at the machine, going in the same direction as myself, rather than being too far in or out. So for me, right-handed, so we're gonna start on the left. I'm gonna go right leg, pushing against here, and driving my thigh into the pad. Gonna use wraps so my grip doesn't give out first, which it often does for most people. So I only really tend to use these if I'm going quite heavy. So, gonna line up so that the machine's gonna go where I am. It's gonna come slightly across me to begin with, and it's gonna pull down into my hip. So just gonna take you for a set of 8. So aiming for 8 reps on each arm, starting with that weaker side first. So for me, I do like a little bit of rotation. I don't like to be too rigid and just staying in one plane. So it's allowing my shoulder to move a little bit and then follow round. We're looking at the handle to go in line with my arm. So we're trying to pull down in this angle rather than coming up here. And that's gonna get me a lot more lat than anything else. So I like about 30 seconds between sets before going into it. Even though it is like a single arm movement, it's a lot better to allow yourself to recover, especially catch your breath, make sure you're ready rather than just rushing into it for the sake of it. So, same again. Gonna go opposite leg, drive in, line up. So we're here, and we drive down. So something else we want to make sure we're doing is we're not folding over this when it gets heavy. So we're trying to keep our chest up to allow that range. So I'm almost driving into this and pushing away to keep myself tall and getting a slight little bit of crunch in down here to get the lat a bit shorter. We're not just pulling around with our body, it's just pulling down, getting short, reach around a little bit, get as much range as I can, and then going from there, do as much as we can. And those last reps do want to slow down, and if they're not, weight's too easy. The next thing I'm gonna go for is a incline Smith machine press. Nice thing about a Smith compared to like a barbell is I don't really have to think about much other than pushing my weight and controlling it. It's super stable, which means I can actually put a lot more output into it and take it a lot closer to technical failure than something like a dumbbell where I'm probably scared of not making that rep quite as much. For me, I don't really care that much for arm path. Some people prefer narrow, some people prefer a bit wider. Often I prefer a more narrow one. She's gonna get you a little bit more triceps, but at the moment I'm going a bit wider just to deal with some shoulder issues I've been having. So yeah. Also, throw fat grips on. I tend not to grip it properly, so I like almost having that so I can push into it a bit more and then stay with that. So just gonna go for a warm-up set And it's super important that you treat your warm-up sets just like you would your normal sets. So the same speed, the same depth, same intensity, same intent. Too many people get in and it's just rushing through it to like ego lift and show off. But the way you do one thing is how you do everything. So just go through the warm-up and then we get into our work. The mistake I see a lot of people make with this is they tend to overextend, so they push too much and they'll almost drop their ribs too much, so you end up just here. You want to think throughout the movement, pulling down to where I can, thinking chest up, pausing that bottom bit, which is where we're going to see most benefit on something like this. Have a little pause, push up to where you can. As soon as you overreach, you're taking all that tension off of your chest and just putting it on the shoulders for no reason. So going into the next warm-up set, and then we're going to go top set straight after. Super important as you get heavier, we're not losing range, we're not speeding up, and we're not losing quality just to move weight for the sake of it. If your goal's just to move weight, do what you want. But if it's to actually grow muscle and take your physique to another level, then we're gonna wanna treat it exactly the same as the other reps and sets. I'm not just trying to beat the logbook every week, we're trying to get to the same number, and if we can beat it with good technique. I'm aiming for 6 on this, and if I get it, cool. If I get 5, also cool. So this will be my first proper set, and then we'll see what we get. If we manage it, which we will, then we go heavier. But if not, it's also fine. So last week, I think I got 5 and stopped at 5. Went for a 6th today. Missed by like an inch, which is quite a common trend for me in everyday life, unfortunately. But yeah, we go. People really rush their rest periods as well. Like it's almost like a badge of honor of like, oh, I rest for a minute. And if you are, again, not going heavy enough, are you? Not training hard. And it's just a case of, you know, you don't want to sit there too long, but you also don't want to rush it. I don't think there's really a right amount of time you need to rest. It's, does everything feel ready to go? Or is it a case of your triceps still feel a bit worked, your chest, or your breathing, and stuff like that. So take your time when setting up for a set, and it will be so much better in terms of performance. But if I rush straight back into it now, I'll probably get 2 reps. So I'll give it a couple minutes and then see what happens for the next set. Keep exactly the same weight though, and go from there. A lot of people just treat this as like a very pumpy exercise just to get blood in the muscle, and their arms never actually get any bigger. So treat it like you would your chest or your, well, boys don't train legs, but you know, treat it like any big muscle and it will grow. You want those last few reps to be slower, but you don't want it to be swinging about, okay? So it's keep that intensity, get as much range as you can. So for me, I quite like a little lift at the shoulder, just to get me a bit more short in that muscle rather than like stopping here, so I get as much as I can. But it's not making sure I'm not this. So come up, control on my way down. Keeping that angle in here. But if you train your arms like you mean it, they're gonna grow eventually. But if you don't, you're gonna stay quite small forever. So my sessions at the moment are pretty short, like they don't take any longer than an hour. Also do about 45 minutes of cardio a day when I'm not training. And then I do 90 minutes on non-training days just to really boost the cardiovascular system and get as fit as possible while going through this fat loss phase. So finishing up, we're just gonna go with face pulls. So it's gonna be my last set. I'm gonna go for about 10 reps or so, and it should, again, start burning towards the end. So I'm gonna use some handles rather than a rope, just because I couldn't find any ropes in this gym, which is a shock. So keeping elbows wide here. Imagine you're trying to pull across like a bow and arrow, keep it in, elbows stay in line. So reach, chest up, and pull. The end of my training session. Not much to it really. I think it's more about just being effective and training hard rather than just having loads of volume for no reason. I'm currently giving away a free three-day training program. If you want that, if you want to receive that, then comment program below and I will send it to you. Hope you enjoy.